I want to start by asking Santosh to explain what you think is the secret and behind the success of brand Modi. After two elections, even the likes of Margaret Thatcher, Tony Blair had a tough third election. Why is it that Prime Minister Modi, from a communications marketing perspective, seems to have a Teflon coating where anti-incumbency doesn't seem to be creeping in as far as Pradeep's polls are concerned, C-vote or any other polling that we look at?
So if you look at any strong brand, what are the prerequisites of a strong brand? The one is that the strong brand has a very strong, coherent idea at its core. That idea must speak to some fundamental, deep motivation that connects to a lot of people. And then that brand must manifest itself in as many ways as possible, keeping itself current. So if you were to look at these three dimensions, I think if you look at brand Modi, at its heart is the idea of a certain amount of strength and clarity. I think if I was to look at it as against politicians that are seen to be compromising, waffling, unclear, hedging bets, that is their image. There is a certain decisiveness and clarity about Modi from his days as a chief minister in Gujarat. So I think there is this very strong, and that is rooted, and that idea of strength in particular takes on more than one dimension. One of them is governance, but the other is, it is the motivation it speaks to, I think, is a long sense of historical injustice that has been nurtured by the majority community in India, by the Hindu community. There is also a sense of, if I may go as far as to say, masculine inadequacy. And there is a sense of a powerful, strong, decisive leader who makes up for their own lack and their sense of insecurity. Here's somebody you can look up to. Here's somebody who's firm, clear, absolutely clear. So that is the connection between the two, which is a visceral connection. It goes beyond the ups and downs of policy. It goes underneath that and connects Modi with a large section of India in a very powerful way. The next element I think that is important is his understanding of brands, brand building, his very powerful use of symbols, his ability to turn relatively sort of routine events into these mega promotional events. The G20 being an example, I call it relatively routine only because the presidency is by rotation. Last year was Indonesia, next year is Brazil. So it's hardly as if there is some great recognition of India having arrived. It's just a matter of India's time. But the way in which that is used, I think it's incredible. So I think his ability to perpetually sort of stay in the news in the right way, plus he is helped a lot by you guys. I mean, politely speaking, you are friendly to this present government. And there isn't a possibility of a counter movement. You ask me how we'll last so long without any stutters. Part of the reason, very strong reason, is the fact that there is nobody to challenge him. You guys certainly don't.
Okay. Dilip Cherian, powerful leaders, popular leaders. Sheila Dikshit, you come from Delhi. By the end of 15 years, people just had enough. There's talk of anti-incumbency against the likes of Shivraj Singh Chauhan. We'll know about this election, but last time there was. And Raman Singh in Chhattisgarh. What is it about brand Modi that keeps him fresh, relevant, and looking new and looking stronger than his opponents?
Well, we just had Sharad Pawar on stage, who's been eternal, consistent and present and relevant for whatever period. Okay? But I think brand Modi works on a very sound corporate principle. The principle is repeat, rinse, repeat. He has managed to make sure that he is on message. When he shifts message, it isn't something that he acknowledges, it's just a new message. So never concede that there was anything wrong. That's one principle of branding which he's holding on to. Santosh spoke about...
Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing? That never concede, like this extremist, maximalist position that nothing is ever wrong.
Coke is very bad. But does Coke ever concede that sugar is bad? No. So it's that principle. If you're a great brand, you've got to take a position and you've got to keep enhancing that position. On the side, you do the other stuff to make sure that your market share is maintained. The second thing is lack of an opposition, which means no brand attempting to take his place. And number three is environment management. I won't use a more polite word than that, but the fact is that it is not Teflon coating. There's a difference between Teflon coating and not being called out for what is wrong. So with these advantages, you can keep a brand continually salient for a long period of time, and because of the fact that you are viscerally connecting to some lack in the vast majority of people, they will keep doing the rah-rah for you on a continuous basis.
Pradeep
But
Gupta,
do you think that, in every election, he has sort of reinvented himself? In 2014, his motto was different. He built his image and his brand, on Gujarat model. He presented Gujarat model. He said that he is a Vikas Purush. In 2019, it became a decisive leader who can take action against Pakistan. Is it that reinvention of his image has always helped him, and that is the reason why he's still unchallenged by the opposition leaders?
I think he knows how to tackle every single thing as an opportunity. I remember when he started work on Vibrant Gujarat and called me to say, we have to do this, the sheer vision of it. At that time, no multinationals were looking at Gujarat. And he said, I want 18 of these companies, and he had a list of 40, and he wanted 18 of them. When he did Gift City, again, he wanted 200 journalists in the middle of nowhere.
But it is not successful. The
And
Gift City is not successful
hang on.
yet.
But he
But
got
despite
them
that, he
there.
could build that.
He got them there. He made sure the event was mega. The fact is that you got to dream big and then throw the resources to make sure that it is big. What happens as a result, he's moved on already. To your point about changing messages, he's moved on but he's moving in a consistent and, shall I say, a very high-powered trajectory, almost like Chandrayaan.